All right, folks, Vitek here from Wani, and with us today we have a very special guest, one and only Silenoz of Dimmu Borgir. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty well, apart from a sore throat and blocked sinus.
You guys must be super pumped for the next phase of the career in the form of Force of the Northern Light, which is coming out, later next month. Pumped up, excited for this DVD?
Yes, very much so. We've been living with this, the shadow of this DVD Blu-ray release for many years now, and it feels finally great to have it ready for release. I know the fans have been waiting, at least the hardcore fans that and wanted it out. They've been waiting for years, and I guess it's even been worse for us. Knowing that that the wrong type of mixes has been on YouTube and whatnot. But now we can finally show for what the show really sounded like live.
Definitely, it's a 6-year gap between those magical performances which happened at Wacken and also in your native city Oslo. So a long gap, and now you have 2017. It's finally coming out. It's been fans have been very patient with respect to waiting it. But apart from the mixes, was there what was the main reason that it took such a long time? Because generally bands tend to do DVD and release it sometime next year. That's how the general trend is.
Yeah, that's true, and that was our original plan anyway. But things get held up for some reason, and then of course when we did our last live shows in 2014 for Abra album, then we took a break, and then we needed to regroup, and then of course time just goes by, and before you know it, it's the years have just flown by. So, and of course there's a lot of logistics involved, a lot of legal stuff that needs to be sorted out. We of course had to mix the Wacken stuff, which was also more of a challenge than the mix we did for the Oslo show, because that was our own show. The Wacken show was of course outdoors in front of 80,000-90,000 people and without no sound check, whatever. So of course that was a bit of a more challenge to mix. But and then of course simultaneously with this, we've been working on and off with new material, and once we kind of had the horizon on the time frame of the next album coming out, we figured out, okay, let's make this DVD release later, so the gap between the DVD release and the album doesn't become as big as the break itself, So it's nothing really hocus pocus behind it, It just sucks that it should have been out earlier, of course, but for something like this, which is two of the biggest shows we have done in our career, I think it's worth waiting for, and it's worth the product for sure.
Absolutely, and it's energetic and relentless in a way only Dimmu could do. I mean, you guys have certainly come a long way. I mean, it's almost been 25 years now, and then this performance at Oslo and also at the world's largest metal festival just shows how good you guys have become.
Well, I think we've it's a result of us being true to what we are. I know that's probably a cliche to say, but I think if you're not honest with yourself and you are yourself, then that's sooner or later going to fall through, fall on its ass, basically. So I think we have done what's correct for us. That doesn't mean it have to work for any other band, but for us it has been working the way we have done stuff,
Phenomenal, man. And I want to put a focus on the camera work, which is extremely intense when we talk about the concert, the coverage, because there are shots that are perfectly in sync with the music and everything just flows beautifully. And then in the later part of the show, you guys have this crowd angle shots to kind of give you a feeling that how the show really looks like from the pit, which is immensely a very powerful effect. I mean, I'm sitting at home, I'm looking at this DVD, I'm seeing different angles, and makes me feel that I'm part of it, which is a very important point in a DVD which you have to capture. So was it sort of a discussion between the band and obviously the team who worked on it to make sure that all the angles are captured in a way that not only the band is shown on stage, but also the crowd that's going berserk.
Yeah, I totally agree with you when you say that you sit in your own living room watching it. You feel like you've been part of it, and that's the whole point behind the DVD. I think you want to be there, and with the surround as well, you kind of get that feeling, you know. So, but of course, it's important to show every aspect of a live show, especially a show like this where you actually can use 16 to 20 different cameras, you know, and at some point, even if you have that many cameras, there could be parts where you should have zoomed in on a certain part of the band or whatever, and none of the cameras have done that. So that's something you realize when you go through all the footage. But mostly, I think we managed to edit it in an interesting way, and it's important to show the crowd and to make them also feel like they're part of it. And you know, I know that there's been people and fans that has been to both shows, and they both said they were killer. Different shows, but killer, you know, and that makes me really proud.
Absolutely, man. I mean, this easily is the definition of the relentlessness, the epic nature, and obviously you guys don't let up once throughout the entire show. I mean, Shagrat does a wonderful job with the crowd work and also keeping everybody involved. And you know, looking at the entire strength of the timeline of playing, even when you play the finale, like, you know, the Morning Palace or even Perfection or Vanity, it hardly looks like that you guys have even, you know, you break a sweat once. I mean, there's no slowing down for a moment.
No, that's what I think is important doing a live show. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be 2.5 hours. It's more important that it is intense, and that people feel like things are not dragging out, you know. I mean, of course, we could have added probably 5-10 more songs to setlist, but I'm not sure if that would have been making it better, you know. Maybe, I don't know, but I think if a live show loses its intensity, it also could bore the fans or the people too. And since we don't play that much live anyway, we're not touring relentlessly like so many other bands do. It's important that once we actually play a show, then we want everyone to be there too, you know. So it's a bit of a give and take, and I think most of our fans understand that now. And once we do something, we want to do it 110%.
Absolutely. You know, the choir, the orchestral presence, and the Dimmu's persona goes hand in hand. I mean, it's such a very powerful and a unique combination when you're on stage. Then you have the orchestra as well, and you guys have done it on the albums as well. Do you feel that you guys connect on more of a spiritual level and the musicality level when you have a orchestral, you know, the live orchestra part of your shows or even on your record?
I would say it's more of a feeling that you have accomplished something really special. Of course, it has a spiritual value to it, both ways of playing live, both with an orchestra and without. But I think it's more of an accomplishment, especially when you have Cork, which is one of the most known orchestras in Europe, have them come to you and ask if you want to collaborate with them, not the other way around, because a lot of people might think that we were the ones that were asking them, but it's actually the other way around. And for me, that's a huge sign of that we do something really special. And I think a collaboration like this has been in the back of our minds for many years, you know, because our music is not far away at all from playing with an orchestra live. You know, we have symphonic parts for many years, you know, in our music. So it just makes sense, and once you hear it and you hear how it's been orchestrated with the orchestra, then you know that, wow, this actually makes a lot of sense, you know.
Definitely, man. You know, the Abracadabra cycle was really, you know, success. The record was a success. The tour was a success, and now that you said you're, you know, working on the next record, which assumingly is planned sometime later this year, which I'm not sure about. You know, what's the ongoing status of the album?
Well, right now I'm calling from the studio in Sweden, and we're in the mixing stages, last final stages of the mixing of the album. So that's where we're at the moment.
Awesome. So it's recorded, done and dusted, and now it's just the mixing part, which
we are actually we're attacking it now with surgical knives, and the small, extremely small microscopic stuff that we feel is necessary to put the last pieces on the album, last touches. Yeah.
That's right, and we have the Norwegian Radio Orchestra, or even on the previous record you had the Schola Cantorum choir being part of the record. Would they be part of the record as well?
Yeah, I guess you can say that. Yeah, we as far as a live orchestra goes, we have decided not to utilize that for this album, but the orchestral parts on the album is of course built up by real orchestral sounds. So I think this album is even sounding more orchestral in the orchestral parts than the previous album even. So it's not, it hasn't lost anything from that aspect in the previous album, and to me it's of course a bit difficult to analyze at the moment. It probably will be for the next couple of years anyway, but it's definitely a diverse, a very much varied sounding album. Every song stands perfectly on its own feet, and it offers so much stuff. There's tons of layers as usual, but more controlled maybe. I can't wait for the people and the fans that have been waiting for so many years, and also of course complaining with good reasons in a way that we've been late. But I believe that it's much better for us to do it in our own tempo, and that's you can't force art anyway, so that's just how it is.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be worth the wait of 7 years for the fans. I mean, do you guys plan to have it this year, or is it planned next year?
Yeah, that's definitely the plan. I'm not sure. We're still talking with the label about tentative release frame, but yeah, definitely this year. It's that's what we're shooting at for sure. I mean, now we're gonna finish the mix and the mastering at least within the next 1 or 2 weeks, from now. So then,
then that long gap between this entire thing and the release is so frustrating for every band that you have to wait for it to out, for fans to hear and see how it has been perceived, especially with the gap of 7 years in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, plus that we've been kind of under the radar and out of the so-called business for a few years now, so we don't really have total overview on how it works, because it changes from month to month. I don't know, but we just want to try and make this release as important as it can. It needs a lot of preparation in the promotion department too, and once we have done the mastering and the cover artwork and the videos and all that stuff, then the next part of the work, I wouldn't call it work even, but the next part of the schedule is of course the world touring and stuff. So
absolutely, man. Does the band feel sort of pressurized that there's a lot of eye on the band? There's a duration which fans have been waiting for. There's a sort of expectations because fans love Dimmu Borgir. Obviously, you guys are known worldwide. So does the band feel a sort of a pressurized, or they're like, let it be how it is. Our music will prove the weight.
I mean, I think we might sound cocky, but I feel that we are really confident about what we have done so far, and I know it's the best we can do at this point in our career. And with that said, it's. People are probably gonna either hate it or love it, and that's fine. I mean, I don't expect people to have to not have any issues about it, whether it's positive or negative, and that's how it's always been with this band, and that's fine with me. I just know that we have done our part, our best thing we can do at this point, and so with that, we feel pretty confident. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You know, you were talking about the orchestral side. I loved how you guys put the emphasis on the last record, which even the musical influence is kind of very reminiscent of the Death Cult Armageddon era or even the euphoric Misanthropia. So is it more like being inspired by your entire catalog to work even on a grand scale to, improve yourself as you, like you said, this is Dimmu Borgir in 2017.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to say if we draw influences from our previous albums, but I guess it's we do things in a certain way, and we have our own framework, so to speak, which we work within. Of course, we try and expand that as much as we can, but it has to come naturally. If you force stuff, then that's not going to work. So, but I think it's been a total natural evolution, and that's probably a cliched thing to say as well, but that's just how it feels. It just feels this is what we do at this point in our career, and yeah.
You guys have this great image of the black metal side, and then obviously you guys go into the orchestral side. An artist evolves over the period of time, and your songs have also evolved. Earlier the bands were talking about the satanic side, and now it's more about the power, the rebirth, the redemption. Is that the concept the band is taking forward instead of getting into the satanism stuff which used to happen back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're if you look at it from a symbolic point of view, we're even more satanic or Luciferian now than we ever have been, because we kind of been looked on as the black sheep within the black sheep family, if you know what I mean. And we got a lot of shit for that from purists or whatever, but that's how it is. It's like a football player changes team, suddenly he's Judas, So that mentality we have been used to for all the past years, but we don't give a fuck about it. We only move forward, and we are our own plow, just going forward and do what's best in our eyes and what's best for us. And we know that a lot of people actually are going to really love it, and there's always going to be people that hate it even before they even hear the album.
Right. I understand, man. So any tours planned this year? Are you guys going to go back, 3 years of the writing phase, and now it's time to go on stage and just kick ass?
Yeah, of course, that's the plan. Exactly when that's going to happen, I'm not sure of yet, because it's still just up in the air at the moment, because we need to finalize certain stuff before we move to B, So we'll see, but definitely we're gonna be touring, and we're gonna hopefully be looking at also other places which we haven't been, such as India and other parts of Asia as well. So we're totally aware of all the fans that we have in places we haven't been yet, and it will be great to show them a Dimmu show.
Dimmu show. Absolutely, man. So before we conclude, if you had to sum up, or let me say, if you had to describe the sound of the next record in a sentence, what would Silenoz say?
That's timeless.
Timeless. Thank you so much again, Silenoz. I've never seen Dimmu live, and I hope to see you guys someday, if not here, at least in Europe. Good luck with the release. Good luck with the DVD release. I'm sure it's gonna, crush all the German and the European charts. I look forward to the record, and you have a wonderful evening ahead.
You too, man. Thanks a lot for the interview.